Well, let's get right into it, guys. First off, thank you for doing this for the Follow Up Boss community. We've got over 600 people registered for this one. So a lot of them are going to catch the replay on this. It's playing live into Facebook. And let's go over what everybody wants to talk about first. And I don't know who this one's going to go out to, so both of you take turns on this one. But Don or Robert, how do you guys use Follow Up Boss at the highest level? What does that look like in your organization?
So we've used Follow Up Boss for 7 years. And I knew all of the stuff 6 and 7 years ago. But as we got a little bigger, Don came on a year or two ago, and he is in charge of using it at the very highest level. So over to you, Mr. Don.
Well, at the highest level now, and Robert, I don't know if you noticed this, just today we crested 800,000 leads in the database. So it's becoming a larger heft every day. But at the highest level, Tristan, I mean, obviously we've got 16 teams throughout the state of Florida currently, team leaders assigned. So we've got that all broken down, you know, at team level with each one of them being able to see it. We've got the various ponds set up so that we can leverage those leads in the pool as well. We've got routing set up that's, I think now for just our realtor.com routing alone, we've got like 435 rules, individual rules that end up going via round robin into the pools, first to claim groups and all of that. So at the very highest level, there's been a ton of reorganization in terms of getting it set up and straight and getting everybody kind of in it and working it the way they should.
One of the best features for us for Follow Up Boss is the fact that we have 2 remote call centers, one in the Philippines and one in Venezuela. And we send all of the retargeted leads from Venezuela, from our database. They all get, if they put a hand up and show some interest in the property, they get contacted by the Philippines or Venezuela. And when we engage then, if they would actually like to see a property within the next 2 or 3 days, our operatives in the Philippines and Venezuela do a live handoff through Follow Up Boss to our agent in the zip code. And that feature is absolutely invaluable for us.
Yeah, the integrations are vital to what we do. Obviously, between Ylopo, we're now using Revaluate, we're using Call Action, and all of these are feeding into the ISA teams. We've actually now got also a team of licensed ISAs in the U.S. that can have more real estate focused conversations and even do higher level transfers over. So we're leveraging Follow Up Boss to the fullest extent.
I love that. So let's talk about the incoming leads that you guys are getting from multiple sources, and then how they're followed up with your VAs in the different areas that you've got them, because that all incorporates your CRM, right? And how everybody uses it at a high level. So you've got realtor.com, you've got Google PPC, you've got some Facebook, all of that is growing your database. Anything else that I'm missing as they're incoming in to Follow Up Boss?
We've got so many different sources, Tris. I mean, it's not a week unless I get a call from Robert or Dan saying, "Hey, Don, we were just looking at something. Can we get this working?" Yeah, we've got multiple sources. Each one of them have different routings in terms of which teams handle them, at what point they handle them. And we really manage all that through the rules, lead flow, through the automations and everything. I mean, it gets so deep, Tristan, not just the lead flow piece, but the follow-ups. We have nudges. We've got folks in the Philippines that do nothing but send push listings out just to re-engage clients. So we just leverage it right across the board.
We do have a call center in Ocala that, so our leads that come in from the portals, realtor.com and Zillow, and we get about 1,000 leads a day from realtor.com. So they go straight to our agents. They're the only leads that go straight to our agents. They also go right into my Follow Up Boss in the office. And we have a team of bilingual agents in our Ocala office who then follow up with all of those leads within 5 seconds to make sure that see if they need a showing set or whatever. But they're the only leads that do go straight to the agents. All of the other leads go into the database, into Follow Up Boss, and then are followed up by our remote call centers overseas.
Okay, so let's talk about these incoming leads where you're getting them from everywhere and Robert's bombarding you and being like, hey, Don, check this new thing out. Take a look at it. Can we implement it? Right. And that's awesome. I'm glad that you guys are always testing things out. Right now, what are you finding are the most valuable leads that you're getting?
So the portal leads are the most expensive, of course, and every day they become more expensive, and it's just going to be a fact of life that one of these days most people are going to cut off the portals just because they get, well, Zillow's probably more than likely going to be a full line brokerage, so that'll get rid of their leads unless you're a Zillow agent. Realtor are becoming so damned expensive that they are probably going to feed them all into the Op City model. Yeah. So we have to look for other valuable leads. And so the pay-per-click, we've been getting them now for about a year. We buy them through Ylopo, and just this week we got a listing on an $8 million home in Florida that came from a pay-per-click lead. So, you know, whatever you hear about pay-per-click, I get it. They're further up the funnel. Takes a little longer to get there. You can't send them straight to your agents because the agents won't call them. So you have to have a remote call center with an army of people who are delighted to call them for $2.50 an hour and do it that way. Because you cannot send them to the agents. The agents just won't get back to them.
I will say this: what's more important than what is the most valuable source of the lead is what needs to be done once that person decides they want to buy, right? And I think that's where we leverage everything that we do. It's not a matter of where they come from, right? What we're seeing already, the trends, whether it's RDC, pay-per-click, whatever, is that, you know, again, the leads will come in, they will take a while to mature, whatever that is, between 90 days and 2 years, right? So whatever that time frame is, but being able and ready to capitalize and get active with that lead when they're ready to transact, right? When they do some of those hand raising activities. Now we're doing a lot to move that along, but I think for us, the biggest key to that, both with our agents and with our ISA teams, is utilizing the hand raiser flags, being able to notice that, see that on a list. I mean, we've got the processes set up for our agents. One of the lists I tell them to look at, I've got two. One is a daily Y priority hand raiser, which you should be on all the time. And the other is last visit less than 1 day ago, right? If someone's coming back to your site, whether it was a year ago or 2 years ago or 30 days ago that they first came into your system, what you do next determines the value of that lead.
Okay, so let's go on that, only because a lot of people listening in don't understand the tech that you have working this along with the system. So, and tell me what I'm missing here that's important, all right? You've got your CRM, your main CRM is Follow Up Boss. That's where everything goes into. You've got the leads that are incoming, right? PPC, Facebook, Zillow, Retro, everything going into there. Then you've got two choices here. As soon as they go in, the higher quality leads, the portal leads, are going directly to an agent versus the PPC, Facebook lead ads, the lower top of funnel type leads are going to your VA team out of the different places you've got around the world, mainly Philippines, or do you have other places?
Venezuela is a very good call center for us. It's slightly more expensive, but they are bilingual. The Philippines are not bilingual. They also have the advantage that they work on a same time system that we're on, whereas the Philippines are the other side of the world. A lot of the people in Venezuela are professional people that no longer have a job. And so we have engineers, school teachers, lawyers, all kinds of people that are working for us in Venezuela and very happy to have the job. And of course, they're all bilingual. So we separate our leads. So the ones in the south of Florida, Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties, they all get handled by Venezuela. and I'm dying to know what that is you got in that jug, Tristan. You know.
You know what? It's a combination of a protein drink with some vegetables and fruits. But
Yeah.
I'll send you
I'm
the
not about to go there, okay? So I'll stick to my green tea, okay? But anyway, getting back to business. So we, all the leads in the southern part of Florida that may likely be bilingual, we handle out of Venezuela. And the rest of the state we handle out of the Philippines.
So let's talk about that a little bit. And Don or Robert, when you're looking to hire in any part of the world, what does that process look like? Like, how did you find people in Venezuela? How did you find people in the Philippines? Did you go to Indeed? Did you go to Upwork? What happened?
No, so the people in Venezuela come to us through a service, Miami VAs, and they are in an actual call center with a manager. The people in the Philippines answer an advertisement, and if you want someone that is familiar with Follow Up Boss, and you run an ad on a Thursday, by Monday you'll have 100 applicants. They all work remotely. They don't work in a call center because the Philippines has 6,000 islands, and so they are working remotely from their home. And so as long as you don't mind a chicken crowing in the background, you're just fine.
I've had that before, so I'm glad you brought that up. So
We just tell them they're down in Key West.
there you go. That makes sense. It's kind of hard over here in California to be like, they're out in the farm area somewhere. So question for either of you. What is this? You put this into the chat on the webinar side, Don, which is one supervisor to every 15 agents. Can you expand on that, please?
Yeah, sure. So with the Venezuela team, MVA has just been great, but basically for every 15 ISAs that they have over there in their call centers, they've got one supervisor. So we've got it set up now so that it is supervised, number one. It's audited. So they've actually got in 2 different parts of the country different facilities, and they've got supervisors in part A that audit the calls from part B and vice versa. So, you know, that's another big key there to make sure that we're not, you know, falsifying numbers and jacking things up. The calls are being made the way they are intended to be. And the big thing for us, and the money question before we transfer, right? These are unlicensed people, so they really can't get in depth. But the money question once they get through the script is, are you going to be buying a house in the next 4 months, or are you going to be renting, right? If they say I'm going to be buying, off you go. So
I love it. So then what does it look like on the training? Is that up to you guys, or is that outsourced to somebody else?
So we have, no, we've in the past 12 months have completely revamped our training, both for our agents, and then as the ISAs came on board, we completely stood up our own training with scripting. They go through virtualized training. They also do training specifically for the Venezuela team. They do it with their team there. So the local supervisors make sure that they go through all the LMS modules. So we've created a scripting platform using Zingtree, which has been awesome for us. So they go through that script with each and every call. But there's about a week and a half worth of training. And I hate to keep plugging MVA, but they've done such a great job. They actually hire in advance in anticipation of turnover, people being out. So they'll keep people in the training process for us even before we're ready to hire. And then it's the same thing in the Philippines, except there we've got two or three supervisors in the Philippines that manage everybody remotely to make sure that they're completing their training. And then the training's ongoing as well. Debbie Tui, who's she's in charge of our training as well as our Slack Academy and the Philippines call center. Mm-hmm. She makes sure that these folks are continuing to be trained. So with the Philippines, she does constant training, calls, script, role play, all of that. So we manage that from our own offices.
All right, I love that. So what does it look like once the lead goes to the agent and they get that lead, and now what is that next process for them, and what would you like them to do on Follow Up Boss so that you keep track and keep them accountable?
Well, to quote Robert, if it doesn't happen in Follow Up Boss, it doesn't happen. Our biggest challenge, I mean, and I know this is going to sound weird to a lot of the people out there. we have too many leads and too few agents. So our agents literally get inundated with more business than you could possibly fathom. I know that sounds really odd. What typically happens is with the live handoffs, they're engaged directly in a transfer. So they will do a live transfer. Hi, Tristan, this is Robert. He's going to be your agent. Robert, this is Tristan. He's looking at this house. You love each other, go to town. If for some reason that call doesn't get transferred, something gets screwed up, we have a action plan in place where the ISA will tag the agent. And then of course we expect the follow-up, right? We expect them to log the calls. We expect them to log the communication and make sure that they're tracking the way they should be.
All right, very good. I love that. So you're getting a lot of praise in the chat and in the Facebook group for sharing. Thank you so much, first of all. We've got about 10 minutes
Did you
left.
see the last comment, Robert? How much does the agent pay for your lead?
Maybe we should look at that, Don.
Yeah, I mean, guys, at the rate you're doing this, you could probably pay agents 30,000 plus bonus a year, and you're done there, right? So
I want to go over one thing here, Tristan, is that the most important source for leads is our database. And as Don said earlier, we have 800,000 people in that database. We are re-hitting all of those all the time, retargeting them, because that is such an important part of our lead flow that, and in future, it's going to become more important. We're going to be looking down the road as database number one, pay-per-click number two, portals just to top up if we need them.
yes,
Because that's the way it should be, you know. And we just sold a house in Bonita Springs in Florida. They came in 3 years ago on a $185,000 rental. We kept dripping them and reaching out via Ylopo. They suddenly went live and bought a $7 million home cash, and would never have had them if we hadn't been doing the retargeting. So
that's the key.
The retargeting piece, and we're just now getting into call action, but that already has proven really beneficial. We took some cold leads. We took about 1,500 cold leads, put them into their platform. I think we're sitting now at a 45% response rate to the text messages, right? So not all of them have been, yes, we want to work with you. Some of them been, I'm not looking anymore, but hey, it's an engaged conversation. We've already transferred over, let me give you an accurate count as of right this moment, 40, and we've been doing this for less than 2 weeks. So we've already transferred 40 of the 1,500 to agents, folks that are looking to do deals. I know a lot of them are even two-sided deals where they came in as seller leads. So that's one thing. The other thing we're getting heavily into is the predictive analytics piece with Revaluate, right? The most likely ones that are going to be moving, it kind of scores them. So that's kind of going next level. So our goal there is to actually start reaching out to people before they even know they're going to be buying. So that's.
Yeah, I love that, man. So look, going into this year, what are you two most excited about? What is your main focus? Because I heard Robert say, all right, we're switching over to having this massive database and working on that first, then a Google pay-per-click, and then later the portal. Is that what's looking like 2021 for you? What else are you excited about?
So what I'm most interested about might not be what Don's most interested about. So we spend about 800,000 a month with Realtor.com. What I'm most interested about is getting rid of that damn bill. So
that's the key. So what's the plan for that? Is that what it looks like?
The plan is to work our database, to work pay-per-click, and to be more diligent on our follow-up than what we've been in the past. And so, and that's always it's always a challenge. So, but we did just over 5,200 homes this last year. We think we can do 7,200 this year. So we just got to ramp it up a bit. So.
Yep. For us, I mean, this is the year of conversion, right? And I think that's the big, well, actually it's the year of the C's for us, but my C is conversion. So really digging into the database with the portal leads and all that. Again, for us, sourcing it is one thing, right? I mean, with our pay-per-click stuff, you're looking at 14, 15 bucks a lead, but it's a single charge. We know that's not the case with the realtor leads, right? You don't get charged by the lead, you get charged by the inquiry, right? So not only, you know, so when you look at a lead cost in realtor, it's 35, 40, 50 bucks, but the real cost of that is exponentially higher. With the PP stuff leads, it's one and done, right? It's one charge, 14, 15, 16 bucks. You own that lead forever. You're not paying for it. You get it into your ecosystem. Thankfully, we've got the luxury of the huge database and can wait them out. We'll be here 2, 3, 4 years from now when these people are ready to buy, but we've already got 5 years worth of database in here. That's what most exciting. I mean, you know, trust me, I'm working hard to get off the portal drip.
And the big thing is get these people off the portals, because as you know, well, so we're largely with realtor.com, but if those people hit 5 homes, we get charged 5 times. And so we need to get them off onto our website and to be looking on our website rather than on the portals. So, and so that's why we reach out and keep them engaged on in our database.
Makes a lot of sense here. I have a question in regards to your past client. So once they're a past client, what's that system that you have to be able to bring them back in the future and love them and make them feel good? Is there a system in place for that?
Work in progress.
That's awesome. I love it.
That's actually one of the big things this year now, because we do have now a database of, you know, 7, 8, 10,000, whatever it is, legitimate homeowners. So that is the next piece where we're going to take that onus on, you know, because we all know that agents typically don't do that anyway. So we're looking at that from a broker's perspective, understanding that you know, that repeat referral business. You know, we do a build your business webinar. I talk to my agents all the time, and I tell them, you know, so if someone says I'm not looking right now, do you just hang up or do you ask that next question? You've already got the rapport. You've already had the conversation. Why not simply ask, well, by any chance, do you know somebody that's looking right now to buy a home? You stumble into one, right? It takes you 3 seconds to ask the question. If you ask 100 people, one may say yes. That's one more deal you didn't have. So this is another key to, I think, what's going to be 2021, 2022, and our key to this is the repeat buy.
I love that, guys. So two quick questions from the audience that I think you can answer pretty quick. One is, do you ask your buyers to sign an agreement of any sort?
So there's 2 things that we've never done. We've never had a buyer agreement signed, and we've shown a home to everybody that wanted to see one. And I know that a lot of the coaches out there today, they say, oh, don't show a home to somebody that's not pre-approved. And I tell them, well, why don't you go down the road to the Mercedes dealership, pick out the biggest, shiniest one you can find. And the first thing that they're going to do is want you to get you behind the wheel, get excited about buying that car, not taking you into finance to see if you qualify to buy it. And I think it's a huge mistake on the part of people in the US, of agents that don't want to get out there and meet the customer, show them that first home and make some rapport. And as regards the buyer agreement, we absolutely do not sign that or ask customers to sign it, because we expect our agents to do a good enough job that the client will want to stay with the agent. If they don't do a good enough job, our agent doesn't deserve to have the business.
Yep, I agree. I've always run it that way too, man. So I'm glad you guys do the same thing. How do you keep your Follow-Up Boss database clean? And how do you keep your agents accountable? Because I feel like sometimes mine is a mess. I look at it and I'm like,
Clean is a relative term, Tristan.
It totally is. It totally is, man. So, I guess we don't want to ask Lee Atkins how he does it, because this is like extremely nice, right?
I personally would like it to be cleaner, but Robert and Dan both kind of reined me in on that. So about 5 or 6 months ago, we started our revitalization program, or rejuvenation program, where we put specific parameters in terms of what stage an agent had to lead in. So hot prospect, lead, nurture. And if they weren't logging communication within a certain time period based upon that lead stage, we pull it back in the pool and let the ISAs manage it. So from a cleaning it up, we do that monthly now. And it seems to be working. I mean, you know, to be perfectly honest, we were looking, we started this and a lot of things about Q2. And we had the same conversion trends for, and Dan was just sharing this morning, for about the past 3 years running. We impacted in the last 3 months of the year with everything we've done, we impacted our annualized conversion rate by 0.25%.
Wow.
So, you know, when you look at what impact 3 months had to an annualized number and it jacked up that much, I think we're on the right path.
Yeah, definitely. Guys, we got 1 minute. I'm going to ask you rapid fire questions. This is a little bit more fun. All right. This is just for the audience to get to know both of you and for me to get to know you. All right, here we go. Minute. Robert, what's your favorite food?
Oh, I like sushi.
Nice. Don, what's your favorite hobby?
Hobby, golf.
Oh, dude, nice. Right. I should have guessed Florida. Robert, do you like to watch television or listen to radio? What do you do, man?
So I watch a little television, don't listen to radio very much, and I don't read as many books as what I should.
All right. All right. Don, do you watch TV? And if you do, what's your favorite show?
I watch a lot of I listen to Pandora a lot. I do a lot of reading, and there is going to be a new show that I'm watching soon, but I'm not going to share that right now.
Okay. The Mandalorian has been amazing. If you haven't seen it, The Mandalorian. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much for your time. Robert, Don, you guys are absolutely amazing and super kind for giving back to the community. We all love you. Thank you. Let's do this again in 2 to 3 months just to see where you're at. We'd love to see that.
Sure.
Awesome.
I'd like to do them every 3 months for the next 10 years, you know, so.
Yeah. I love that. Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Don.
All right, Tristan, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.